10 days at university, not knowing whether they would be allowed to sit exams, having spent a term studying. Many are now being told that they can sit the exams, but we're being told that they may not get the results or be able to start the second semester because neither bursaries nor student loans are available. Is this what we want for the children who just accepted prizes, doing of their best, making their parents proud, and laying a platform for them to become builders of Barbados, just as Royal Parkinson was, just as the people to whom I referred who came to this school, who head from the Defense Force to the National Insurance Scheme? They didn't go to Harrison College. They came from this school. The biggest portfolio management in the country is managed by a Parkinson boy. The head of the Barbados Defense Force is a Parkinson boy. The most advanced, we won't call him the cultural entrepreneur in terms of technology and stage management is Dorsey Boyce. Second to none. Rodney Grant and Derek and Hammy even developed the principle of non-governmental funding for non-governmental organizations to be significant players in the community in this country. How do you create that creativity? Have those skills, have the positive values, and then doubt that you have it, and doubt that you need it. I appeal to all of you, in your own little way. Now is not the time for us to dismantle what has protected us thus far, neither in terms of education, nor in terms of healthcare, nor in terms of that other Barbadian of Barbadian ways, protecting each other. That's why we were told about the share pot mentality. Anybody who grew up in St. Michael knew that if you didn't have and others had, what happened? You shared. You didn't watch somebody else suffer. Now that may have carried its other negative effects because it meant that you could malicious in people's business too. But that was a small price to pay for the camaraderie and community spirit that it lifted across our people. I ask you, the children of this school, because you are the ones who will have to face potentially a new Barbados. And I ask the parents of these young children, understand what has worked for us. Understand what has carried many of you and your family and your friends safely thus far. Understand that in the entire world, the thing that Barbados is most well known for is education. The World Competitiveness Survey has us listed last year at number 15 in the entire world of 189 countries. In primary education, it lists us as number 1. Number 1. Overall education, number 15. That does not mean that we don't have work to do. That does not mean that we don't have changes to make. But there's a solidity with which we have approached the issue of education that has made a definable difference to the quality of life of our people. In relation to healthcare, we are in the top 50. In relation, I believe, is it malaria or TB? We are number 1 in the fight against. Are we prepared to put public health back on the agenda after 100 years of leadership in the entire Caribbean, such that most Barbadians now speak of chikungunya and dengue and all of the things that we know, and it's not just government to deal with it. We know that we have a duty to take care around us and to keep it clean. But government has a duty to keep ground it clean as well and not just prosecute those private citizens who are not keeping it clean. It is a collective effort, because one of the difficulties of smallness is if you sneeze in St. Lucie, you catch a cold in St. Philip. That's what smallness means. Similarly, we have to recognize that we have to be able to create opportunities, because more and more of our young people are likely to be entrepreneurial. I asked young Jason when he came to give me the coincides what he wanted to do. He said teach, or in fact own my own business. And more of our young people will want to own their own businesses. Small Business Association has recorded over 11,000 enterprises owned by people. And in difficult economic times where there is massive layoffs, more and more people tend towards ownership of enterprise. Now, why is this important? Traditionally, our private sector has been risk averse. And Everett knows what I mean. Bankers know what I mean. Those that inherited the skills of mercantilism, merchant trading, and ownership of land, and ownership of money and assets, continue to do well. But we never created a society that said that that child born in Borden, St. Andrew, with a good idea, should be able to move that idea from idea to fruition without having to know a fella in this country, and without having to call a favor from anybody. That is the Barbados that we want to lead again in this country and to see. Because if we open the windows to the nation, as I keep saying, and air it, just like the old people tell, open the windows to the house and air the house, then it means that there is not preferential treatment for consolidation of wealth in the hands of a few. But these youngsters who came on this stage can truly become the best that they can be, because their country gave them a chance, even if their parents were not capable of giving them that leg up that the parents wanted to give them. They come from a rich and goodly heritage. Theirs is one upon which they can build. And don't believe, as we know, that if you beat your parents in cards at 5, it doesn't mean that your parents start to listen to you. So you can beat your parents in cricket and dominoes, but the relationship of the family is still anchored in the way that it should. But that does not mean that you are to cower or to sloop or to mumble in your parents' presence. Teach them to stand tall. Teach them to be confident. Emancipate them from the notions that we are pawns to be oppressed by those who have lighter skin, or those who have more money, or those who have more land. None of that so. Each of our children must walk and stand tall in this country. And it is up to you as parents to inspire in them that sense that they can be the best that they can be. Nobody knew that the best cricketer in the world would be born in the Bayland. Nobody knew. Nobody knows where the next best software engineer in the world, Santi, it could be across there in the mine. Nobody knew that Rihanna would come from Westbury Road. You're getting what I'm saying, children? Can't hear you. Do you understand what I'm saying? Still can't hear you. And that's the point. Don't ever, because I know that if I find you now on a playing field, or if I find you by your friends in a beauty salon, you're not going to be whispering. But you whisper in school, and you whisper in church, and sometimes you whisper in the home. And you have to learn that you can stand tall and speak up without being rude and without being disrespectful. These are the simple truths that will make our children more marketable, more confident, more capable. And Barbados, as much as others may not want to believe it, will only succeed if we believe we can take on outside of our shores yet again. That we are not risk averse, that we are prepared to invest and to create and to make and to be the best that we can be. And let no one tell you that it is not possible for you. One of my favorite songs growing up was Jimmy Cliff. Don't know how many young people know it. But I can assure you that if you don't know it, I'm sure that Mr. Brooms will make sure and the teachers will make sure you know it at the beginning of next term. You can get it if you really want. But you must try and try and try and try. And you know why I'm telling you that? Because too many people stop after the first failure. Don't stop. I have doubts, Santia has doubts, Mr. Brooms has doubts, Canon Isaacs has doubts, the Bishop has doubts, Mr. Brown got doubts. All of us. But the measure of a person is not how we behave when things are going well, but it is what we do when the pressure is on us, when you're back up against the wall, how you treat people. And your school hymn tells you all that you need to know. May they learn from this great story all the arts of friendliness, truthful speech, and honest action. People don't get into trouble often for the wickedness they do. They more get into trouble for the lies that they tell and the dishonesty that they perpetrate. Courage, patience, steadfastness. How to master self and temper. Know when to pull back. How to make their conduct fair. That is the essence of Barbadianness that we want to perpetuate. Fairness, transparency. Kadir, take care of the ones that can't take care of themselves. When to speak and when to be silent. When to do and when to forbear. I want you to speak loud and forthright with your back erect. But that does not mean being rude. And that does not mean cutting into someone else's conversation. But when given the opportunity to express yourself, express your views respectfully, because people will learn to agree to disagree, and they will respect you for your forthrightness, they will respect you for your thought, and also for your behavior, for knowing when, where, and how.